It's beginning to feel a lot like Christmas, and I got an early sneak peek at our gift from Marvel. Yes, I've seen the first 2 episodes of Hawkeye, which debut the day before Thanksgiving, November 24th. That's right, we get 2 episodes, so they don't overlap with the Book of Boba Fett. Oh, the holidays, it's going to be a real Disney feast, Disney Plus feast. The review embargo for Hawkeye lifts the day before its release, per usual for Disney Plus shows. They always release the embargo the day before. So today what's going to happen is I'm going to share my initial reaction. I'm so glad you guys like these initial reaction videos, along with my thoughts on the show compared to other Marvel Disney Plus shows and how it fits into the MCU at large. More of a business perspective. And don't worry, no spoilers, and I'm happy to say there's stuff to spoil, just 2 episodes in. So that's good. The show's got that going for it. So what do you know? The Marvel Netflix shows are alive and well with Hawkeye. We thought it looked a bit like those shows in the set photos, and indeed, it does feel that way. The show feels as much like those Marvel Netflix shows as it does the Hawkeye comic it's based on, which is a lot. It feels so much like both those things. It feels more like those 2 things than it does the MCU, which is good and bad, because we love the MCU, but we love Marvel Netflix and the Hawkeye comic. It's just a different level. And so what that level means is that while this show is a lot of fun, plus nostalgic, because we miss the Marvel Netflix shows, some of them, Iron Fist even, cut down when it finally got good, cut down in its prime. But this also means that it has the slower pacing of the Marvel Netflix shows. When I say Marvel Netflix, I'm talking about the good things about those shows, but unfortunately, also some of the bad things. It has the lower budget feel, more of a focus on story. It's a little darker, which is cool, but more of a focus on story than action and MCU building. And also, a lot of the action, and there's like a decent amount of action, but a lot of the action takes place in poorly lit areas. You know the drill from Marvel Netflix shows. And I would say the fight choreography is more on the level of Jessica Jones than Daredevil. The fight choreography so far has been medium. While the other live action Marvel Disney Plus shows so far have felt like movies. So it's a bit of an adjustment to now watch something that again feels like it's more like the Defenders. I feel like it's more like a Defenders show. The 2 episodes in, while very enjoyable, again, I want to make sure that, even though this is the thing. I'm sorry to say, it's my least favorite of the Marvel Disney Plus shows to date, just because it's the safest. But the Disney Plus Marvel shows have set the bar very high, so this is still very entertaining and certainly up there with the best comic book streaming shows out there. I think also what's most surprising, at least with the first 2 episodes, is, again, no spoilers though, but how Kate Bishop-centric it is. And I love Kate Bishop. I love Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop. We're all very excited to see this debut. And wow, does she deliver. And some people, by the way, also have a problem with Jeremy Renner a bit because some of the allegations against him in his personal life. So some of you might be like, I'm glad it's Kate Bishop-centric. But still, the very beginning, that's how you might feel. But the very beginning of the first episode makes it seem like we're finally going to celebrate how cool Hawkeye is. I never got Hawkeye, but in the first episode, I was like, this whole show actually, I'm like, maybe Hawkeye is pretty cool. I'm really starting to get on the Hawkeye train. Choo-choo, all aboard. And he can hold his own with the other Avengers. And in fact, he might be one of the most interesting Avengers. So I'm excited to crack that door open. But then the show kind of closes that door. And I'm like, wait a minute, I thought we were going to go through this door. Maybe we will. We're only 2 episodes in. But Clint is dealing with some really compelling stuff here. I was blown away. I can't wait for you guys to see what Clint is dealing with here. So I'm like, I think we should focus on that a little bit more because that's really interesting. And in the few scenes that he has in the first 2 episodes, Renner is very, very good. I thought this was going to be more of a dynamic duo situation. So again, I am surprised that at least again for the first 2 episodes, I would really call this the Kate Bishop show. And I do feel a bit bad for Haley Steinfeld for that because while she's extremely talented and likable here as well, I fear that the slow pacing of this show is going to make some people complain. You know who it's going to be. You know the types. And that same type is going to be, unfortunately, likely to blame Haley Steinfeld because she's the face of it all. And it's like, leave Haley Steinfeld alone. She does what she's asked to do extremely, extremely well. But I'm getting kind of tired of, the people behind the camera not doing the best to support the on-camera talent so they don't have any problems with some of the more toxic corners of fandom. Speaking of dynamic duos, what's most interesting about this show, and it's not obvious, you kind of have to dig for it a little bit, but it's worth the dig, is that sidekicks rampant in DC have finally come to the MCU. And I do like me some sidekicks as a DC Comics fan. Yes, while some Young Avengers have already been teased, we finally have our first fully fledged Young Avenger, with Kate Bishop going full vigilante right out of the gate. And anyone who's seen Bumblebee knows that Haley Steinfeld can handle action very well, and she does here. She has a very good physicality to her as an actress. In fact, so far, Hawkeye actually reminds me of the classic Robin origin stories, all the Robin origin stories. We always love good Robin origin story, and there are a lot of them. And this is just as enjoyable. It has a lot of those elements, which, come to think of it, gives Haley Steinfeld here a Barbara Gordon, Carrie Kelly, Stephanie Brown vibe. She would actually be excellent in she would have been a great Barbara Gordon, quite frankly. And she messes up a little. Barbara messed up a little bit. I just reread Batgirl Year One to get ready for the HBO Max movie. So she messed up a little bit, but Stephanie Brown messed up a lot. Whew, she messed up a lot. And Kate Bishop's a little wobbly in the first 2 episodes. But anyway, Kate Bishop is a unique character, particularly in that she comes from a very wealthy family. And while that is portrayed here quite well, Haley Steinfeld herself doesn't have that posh vibe that Kate Bishop has had in the comic. So I think that's missing a bit, which is maybe why she feels more like Barbara Gordon or Stephanie Brown than she does Kate Bishop. But she's so good. She's so good here. It's fine. It's a minor quibble. But instead of the father-son element that exists with Batman-Robin stories, or father-daughter element, here, I love this. It's really interesting to see 2 heroes at such different contrasting points in their careers. One struggling with the harsh realities of being a hero after being one for so long, while the other, just getting started, is focusing on the fantasy of it all. I thought that to me was just amazing. I was like, that's good stuff. If the show leans more into that for the next 4 episodes, we could really end up having something good here. Now, as for the MCU overall, at this point, we know that the secret sauce to Kevin Feige's success is that all these stories are connected. And the more stories that Feige tells, the more we want them to be connected. I think we're disappointed at this point if they're not connected. And on that note, you are not going to want to miss the opening of episode 1. Oh, that put such a smile on my face. This is the stuff we get up at 3 a.m. in the morning for. I'm excited. And our live watch-alongs will continue again with Hawkeye, and I can't wait to watch the opening of episode 1 again with you. It's going to be good stuff. I loved it. Otherwise, though, while we know Yelena is on a collision course with Clint thanks to the end credit scene of Black Widow, and there are some cool small MCU Easter eggs here and there, I wish there were more. I think that would have really done a lot to help the show, particularly with the slow pacing. I mean, there are some, but I would be like, we need a lot more Easter eggs. We need to throw in a lot more. We need a real Easter egg hunt here. There are more Easter eggs, in fact, for the Hawkeye comic, which you should definitely read before you watch this show. I mean, it's an extremely loose adaptation of that comic, and in the comic, Clint is the focus, whereas here, Kate Bishop is the focus. But still, it's so strongly based on the comic, you're just not going to enjoy it as much as if you don't know what they're referencing. And then also, it really seems pulled from the Marvel Netflix shows, which are about to get pulled into the MCU, and clearly starting here. Marvel Netflix. You should really be thinking Marvel Netflix. That's going to really help you prepare for what to expect with this show. And I do love the Christmas theming. I love Christmas. And it really feels like a Christmas show, and Christmas in New York to boot, which allows me, as a New Yorker, to play one of my favorite games, Spot the New York City filming location. That's great. That's really fun. I don't know if you can overdo Christmas theming, quite frankly, but I think you can underdo it, and they don't underdo it. It's very Christmassy. I mean, I think no matter what you might think of the show, you're going to enjoy watching it, having something like this to watch during the holiday season. It's not another Die Hard just yet, though, which is what I've been hoping for, but it still has 4 episodes to go. So again, dial down those expectations and get ready to celebrate Christmas and Haley Steinfeld two things that I think are worth celebrating. And here's hoping some of the best glimmers in episode 1 and 2 become more of the focus of the 4 episodes going forward, and this thing ends up, maybe it's just getting off to a little bit of a slow start. It's fun. We're going to have a great time watching it. You're going to have a great time watching it, but it's more Marvel Netflix than what they've been doing on Disney Plus to date. Are you excited for Hawkeye? You should still be excited about it. This is going to be such a good time. Lucky the pizza dog. I love that dog. Again, review embargo is 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on November 23rd. And then join me for a live watch-along of the first 2 episodes. We're going to watch them both back-to-back, baby, when they drop at 3 a.m. on November 24th. And I do have some surprises planned for that watch-along to make it extra special. Oh, it's going to be great. Share your thoughts down below, especially about sidekicks joining the MCU. That, to me, is just really exciting. Who are you rooting for? Do you want this to be the Haley Steinfeld show? Or are you like, whoa, I'd like a little more Runner in there, thank you very much. I can't wait to talk about what he's going through. Subscribe today, and of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.